So we found the newest problem at 135,
Yeah.
Mr. Saeed Nurmagomedov,
Yeah.
coincidentally no relation to the famous Khabib Nurmagomedov from Dagestan and a great fighter nonetheless. This was a beautiful submission that he applied last night, and it goes along with what we always say on this channel. It's always position over submission. When you see a lot of guys shoot a guillotine like that, they'll have it halfway in, and then they'll kind of sit back to guard, and the other guy will pop their head out because it's not that difficult to get out of a loosely attached guillotine. But Saeed had the wherewithal to adjust his hand, switch the grip, and cinch that choke in before he sat to guard, and then give himself the momentum to come up on top and apply a tremendous amount of pressure. I think this guy is a real problem at 135, and I think he'll have a name or a number next to his name come Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and anybody with that last name is usually a serious threat on the ground, but we didn't realize just how good his striking was. He's Zabit 2.0.
Yeah.
Ever since Zabit went missing in action, nobody knows where he is. I think this guy is going to take over, and people are going to really start to enjoy watching his fights. I'm a fan. I thought that was a lot of fun. His spinning kicks were wildly accurate. His striking was wildly accurate, and that was one of the tightest guillotines. It was a little bit of a modified straight arm guillotine. It was a trach choke rather than a blood choke, but make no mistake about it, it looked like a very uncomfortable position for his opponent to be in, and it was a quick tap as soon as he did cinch it up. And the defender, the opponent was defending right. He was, a lot of people like to get the legs to the outside so they can jump and get you into a tight guard and then keep your hips away from you as they work the guillotine. He was trying to keep the leg under his leg or in between his legs, which, made for a slightly different situation. And what he did was he switched the grips right then and there and utilized that leg that was on the inside as the sweeping leg so he could get up and get to the position that he needed to get to. I thought it was really, really impressive. It looked like a horrible position to be in. And, man, he deserved every dollar of that $50K bonus that he got from Dana. And I can't wait to see what he does next because the bantamweight division does have tons of great strikers, but it has really great just all-around MMA fighters.
Yeah.
And what we always talk 145, they've got just tons of really great strikers. But I think 135 just got a serious future prospect, top potential contender, and maybe one of the most dynamic strikers who also seems to have a lot of submissions up his sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a nice balance. I think he's 50-50 on the knockouts and submissions. Got a few decisions worked in there, but he's never been finished. He's only ever lost by decision. Record is 15-2. And the amount of technique with regards to striking and grappling that he showed us in 47 seconds time is pretty impressive. I mean, he showed us a lot of skills in less than 1 minute, earned every bit of that $50,000 bonus. Cody Stamann is a really good fighter, and that was a not an easy opponent, and Saeed made it look easy. He is just that good. I think he's top 10 material.
Yeah.
He's lost a couple of decisions, but I believe that he has got a very bright future ahead of him, and I think that given the fact that he can submit you and he can outstrike you, makes him a matchup that a lot of 135ers won't be eager to pick up the phone and say yes to.
Yeah, and there's a couple of guys like a Merab Dwalish-Willie, those types of grappling-heavy bantamweights that would probably see him and go, I don't know if I can stand with him, but maybe I could go on the ground. That submission proved that he's a problem for the grapplers, the wrestling heavy grapplers, and then the strikers. I mean, Sean O'Malley's one of the most dynamic strikers we've seen in the bantamweight, in the UFC in a long time, definitely in the bantamweight division. And I think this guy goes kick for kick, punch for punch with Sean O'Malley.
Very fast. He's
very fast, very accurate, very creative with what he throws and when he throws it. That's a fight I'd love to see. If you want to put on a great show for the fans and somebody that would have to earn their ranking in the top 10 the hard way, you do Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. Yeah. And we'll see whose name emerges, because I think with the last name, same last name as Khabib, this guy could potentially get some of that Russian Dagestani rub and really get brought up high into the to the people's eyes.
Yeah.
And he would go from a virtually unknown Russian fighter to a very well-known guy who may not be related to Khabib, but has a relation with the name. And then, of course, now that we know who he is, there's going to be some synergy between those guys. And they're going to, I bet you within the next month or two, you're going to see a picture or a video of Said Nurmagomedov with Khabib Nurmagomedov doing some form of training or hanging out or drinking coffee, whatever it may be. I would love to see that. This guy's a problem. I really do think that a lot of these bantamweights better hold on to that ranking if they think it's so important very dearly, because if they sign to fight him, it could be trouble.
Yeah, this could be another Islam Makhachev type situation where a lot of guys don't start to say yes to fight him and he gets a little stagnated. But I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they give him a big fight. And, you know, you may not be blood related to Khabib Nurmagomedov, but when you are from Dagestan and your last name is Nurmagomedov, you are forever related in the people's minds to Khabib.
Right.
So I think he should play that up. I think they should work together. I think that, you know, obviously he's got incredible striking. He's got great submission skills. We didn't get to see a whole lot of wrestling because that guillotine was cinched up on the feet, and then he essentially just had to pull guard and then use the momentum to come to the top. And by the way, that choke, I've been in that choke by people who know how to do that trach choke. It's not called guillotine for no reason. Like, it literally feels like your head's about to pop off. Like, that is to make a guy tap that quick when you just drive your hips forward when you're in the top position. My God, that is something to be put in. If you've never been put in it, consider yourself lucky. I have, and my neck has suffered for it in the days following.
Yeah, and Stamen's a tough guy. He doesn't want to tap early. He doesn't want to tap in the first minute of the fight. But when somebody got you and they've cinched it up like that, you've got to just, you know, live to fight another day, because you will leave with a sore neck and a lot of pain, and you will end up just going to sleep or getting your Adam's apple, you know, basically smushed.
Pushed through the back of your spine.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a very, very impressive fight. I hope they keep him active. I'd like to see if he's able to do that again to somebody. Maybe we've got a Khamzat Chimaev type of thing going where we can get him in there active, get him in there a bunch of times in the early part of this year. Let's start to build some of this next generation of fighters. Nurmagomedov is a hot name in the world. The Muslim fighters love him. The Muslim people love him. Everybody in Russia supports their fighters really well. So I'd love to see exactly how far this guy can go. And I truly think, I'm not putting the cart before the horse, I think he has the skills to be a top 10 guy, and then very soon, maybe the end of this year, fight against some top 5 fighters.
I totally agree.